Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jen Bourne, and I'm the CEO of Solutions for the Planet. I am so excited to be at the Youth Climate Summit and so honoured that Transform Our World have invited us to be part of it. I am going to be sharing some slides with you today. We're going to be talking about hope in action and how Solutions for the Planet, the organisation that I run, and our Big Ideas programme really embodies that and embraces that as our tagline through our partnerships with schools, our partnerships with businesses, and our Big Ideas programme, which is a sustainability-focused STEM and enterprise programme delivered in secondary schools across the UK. So I will share my screen with you and we will kick off. I'm still getting used to the lovely world of Zoom. Okay, see if this works. First off, we're going to hear from one of our awesome young people and then I will move into the presentation.
Really, in life, it's a short life. You don't have long to live. You've got to get on with things. You've got to make the most of opportunities. And you've actually got to just be the best you can be and leave your mark on this world.
Absolutely embodying hope in action. So Solutions for the Planet and our Big Ideas programme is all about sharing knowledge and skills to shape a sustainable future. Up on the screen, you can see some of the logos of the fantastic big ideas that have been developed by young people across the UK taking part in our Big Ideas programme this year. So Solutions for the Planet and the Big Ideas programme has been delivered to over 20,000 people, young people across the UK over the last 7 years. We've been operating for 7 years now, and we've worked with over 500 business mentors in that time. The programme is all about providing a sustainability-focused enterprise activity for 11 to 14-year-olds in secondary schools. So we want to nurture and encourage critical thinking, collaboration, problem-solving skills, and creativity. All of the students that take part in the Big Ideas programme also are eligible for CREST Awards, which are fantastically provided, or they're not provided, you have to pay for them, but they're from the British Science Association. And that's a great thing for our young people because that is a recognition of the STEM activities the students are doing. And I've mentioned STEM now, so we really encourage young people to embrace STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths skills that they need in life and after school. This presentation is quite broad and all-encompassing about the Big Ideas programme and how young people are so important to the whole sustainability agenda and how important their voices are. And up on the screen now, you can see some of the businesses that we work with at Solutions for the Planet. So the business's role in working with the Big Ideas programme is to support the students through employee mentors. So their staff go into the schools, or this year will virtually be supporting the schools, to develop their big ideas into the students' big ideas into business plans, to build their networks, to help with their marketing, and the mentors go in on a regular basis or connect with the schools on a regular basis to help the students develop. Now, you may be wondering why. We've had some fantastic, I've listened to a few fantastic talks already at the Transform Our World Summit, earlier listening to Beyond the Bubble, who were talking about collaboration. And that's one of the key things. Sustainability is something that unites all of us. It unites businesses with schools, with young people, with other organisations, not-for-profit, for-profit. It's something that affects us all, and it's something that we all have a responsibility to engage with. So that's one of the reasons why these businesses are really keen to be engaging with young people and schools. Some of them have some big sustainability challenges themselves because of what they do in their businesses, and they need to be really creative and innovative in thinking of some new solutions, and they look to young people to help them with that solution finding. The businesses want to empower the voice of young people in key global issues. They want to connect with schools and young people. They want to increase sustainability awareness in both young people and their own employees. Solutions for the Planet and our Big Ideas programme wants to create greater opportunity for creativity within the curriculum and potentially influence some of the nature of teaching. We also aim to develop STEM skills, entrepreneurial skills, and employability skills. Things like confidence, presentation skills, how to work as a team. And also, our businesses are really keen to be meeting the workforce of the future. So widening the talent pool for business might sound a bit corporate, but what that means is the businesses are really keen to be actually identifying the future employees for their business. So there are a lot of reasons why businesses want to be engaging and supporting young people in schools to be engaging with the sustainability agenda. And through programs like the Big Ideas program, students can engage with sustainability and they can also develop their key skills along the way. The Big Ideas program is a journey. We run it over the course of an academic year in schools. It's run with Key Stage 3 in England or S1 to S3 in Scotland. And it can be run with anything up to a whole year group. Some schools, in fact, use select students from year 7, 8 and 9 and combine them together. Although with the current situation around bubbles, that's not quite so easy. It starts with a Big Ideas Day. And that Big Ideas Day is a day where we have up to 200 young people, or it can be much smaller. This year we've got some virtual program running where it can be delivered in class sizes, and the students start to explore different environmental sustainability challenges, and then really importantly think about which issues matter to them. They'll then start thinking about a big idea that can solve them, and then turn that big idea into a presentation at the end of the day in front of their peers. After that Big Ideas Day, the students have the opportunity to take their idea forward and develop it into a business plan, a presentation, and an actual real life big idea. And we have a structured framework to support teachers and our mentors to deliver this that element of the program. We call them development sessions. Students will look at different areas of a business plan. So thinking about really what that issue is and unpacking that, then going on to think about the solution that they have come up with, looking at their marketing, their networks, their competitors, their finances, how they're going to brand their idea, and of course, really importantly, thinking about sustainability throughout. And I think that's kind of one of the threads that is running through this presentation, is that sustainability is not a simple topic. It's very complex and very interconnected. So lots of things linking together. And with the Big Ideas programme, the students have the opportunity to explore that in a really cross-curricular way. So the students then, with their big ideas, submit them into our national competition, And each year we have around 150 to 180 big ideas entered into our competition. And every single big idea that's submitted will get feedback from our regional panel judges. So that is great, because even if students don't progress to the next stage of our competition, they get feedback and they have the opportunity to continue working on their big idea if they so wish. We then have a regional final stage of our programme, where we go to local universities traditionally, although this year they were held virtually, and the students present and pitch their idea in front of students from other teams in other schools in the region. And then after our regional finals, of which we have between 6 and 8 across the UK, we have our national final event, which traditionally is held at the Houses of Parliament in London. This year, it's happening virtually, although we've got a fantastic support from MPs, and that's happening next Wednesday, where we've got 12 amazing teams who've been working on their big ideas through lockdown, proving that you don't need to just have these programs in schools, but young people have initiative, they have drive, they have the motivation, they have the collaboration skills to actually turn their ideas into a reality and really make a difference in the world. And that's something that's really come out of our programme this year with all the challenges that we've been facing. So now I'm going to show you a short video from which represents what some of the teachers that we've worked with in the past think about the Big Ideas programme and why it's important to them in their schools.
I'm a technical teacher and I'm really passionate, really keen about getting STEM projects and STEAM projects embedded within our school and our department, especially with gender equality as well. I feel that the girls have got a massive part to play and can really bring a lot to projects like this, and watching their skills grow from, as I say, presentation to design to finances. It's quite something to see them.
5 years ago, when we first started with Solution for the Planet, it was meant to be an enrichment activity for the science team. However, that's developed further, and what we're looking at now is looking at a bigger picture and making the children become aware of that we are all environmentalists and we need to think about our environment.
Definitely say teamwork skills. From the moment they've started Solution for the Planet, from the Big Ideas Day to how they are now, they've worked fantastically as a team. Presentation skills, their confidence has just been boosted dramatically, and I don't think I can go up there and stand and talk as well as they have. Personally, I think just being here today has been very inspirational, seeing all the ideas and just very, very positive about the future and all the ideas all the students have in bettering our planet. So I think I'm very inspired. If they think teaching is rewarding, then being part of Solution for the Planet will be more immensely rewarding.
Really quite humbling to be able to teach kids like that, to be able to be part of their project, to be able to be part of their team, to see them grow, to see them come up with their ideas is really quite amazing. I've learned to really appreciate what they can actually bring to the table, and just an immense amount of pride in the projects and the work that the pupils do.
So that gives you a feel for from my perspective, one thing that makes me excited about that is it demonstrates that this really is a space where everyone has the opportunity to learn. Yes, I'm talking about the Big Ideas programme particularly today, but actually sustainability, as I've said, unites us all. We all have an opportunity to learn from and with each other, which is where our sharing knowledge and skills to shape the future really comes from. it's not about teaching these our young people something. It's about providing a space where young people have the opportunity to get creative and come up with amazing solutions. And that can be a real challenge with the constraints that we have around the content that has to be taught to young people. I know that can be a real challenge for teachers in schools. I see a question's come through around how many people or groups can go to the final. We work with approximately 30 schools each year, so it's quite a it can be quite a competitive sort of opportunity to get into the programme, but we're always looking to sort of engage with more schools and in different areas across the UK. And in terms of the sort of journey along the programme, we have around 156 submissions. So that's what we had this year, I say around. And then we shortlist down, and about 60 of those generally present at a regional final event. And our national final has between 10 to 12 teams. So this year we've got 12 teams that will be presenting next Wednesday. Now, up on the screen, I've got a slide on STEM skills. And at Solutions for the Planet, STEM skills are absolutely key. Most of you, or some of you may not know, but STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and maths. And our view on STEM and STEM skills in the Big Ideas programme is that it's not necessarily about how much you like a subject. So you might think you don't like science very much, but you might not realise that the skills that you are using in science, things like experimentation, research skills, hypothesizing, these are skills and these are techniques that are useful in many, many other areas, even if you don't necessarily go into a science career. And I think this actually links to the previous panel that was going on, where they were talking about careers. Sustainability and green careers can tie into any careers. That really can, as can STEM skills, and STEM skills are really, really important. We believe in coming up with creative solutions and implementing creative solutions to sustainability challenges. So we might say to students, do you like art, for example? And they'll say, yeah, we love art, but that's got nothing to do with STEM. But actually, you could be a medical illustrator. You could be a sports statistician if you like sports. And my personal favourite, if you like food, you could be a pastry chef, looking at the different quantities of things that are needed. And and all of those also have sustainability challenges within them too. If you're a pastry chef, where are you sourcing your ingredients from, for example? How far are those ingredients having to be transported? So sustainability and STEM in the Big Ideas programme are very much interconnected. And then I've just got a slide with some more really exciting jobs linked to STEM, and obviously that have sustainability elements to them as well. The other key area, along with the STEM side of things, that the Big Ideas programme ties into are the Sustainable Development Goals. So the Sustainable Development Goals, I'm sure, have been talked about a lot this week. Obviously, the 17 goals that were set up by the UN, and the goal is that we have achieved a number of them, if not all of them, by 2030. And they cover a huge range of sustainability challenges. So this is also a really key point when it comes to, what problem do the young people want to solve, and how does that tie into sustainability? With a number of the young people, they might come up with something which may be more linked to social sustainability challenges than the environmental sustainability challenges. For example, looking at education or gender equality. But one thing that these goals, and I think it's particularly represented by the nature of the way they're formed in a circle, is that they are so interconnected. So you could come up with an idea which actually links into several of these goals. I think that's a really important thing for us to be communicating with young people. Is it's not that you just pick one thing and then that's the solution. It's understanding the connections between the different areas that are covered by the Sustainable Development Goals. So, for example, we have a team this year that's looking at a service to redistribute food and educate people around healthy eating and food waste, food for all. So we challenge them, well, where does that fit into the Sustainable Development Goals? Maybe some of you could have a think about where that might fit into some of the Sustainable Development Goals, and actually note that down, or you could pop it in the chat. This is the logo of EAP Solar Solutions, which is a solar-powered ocean-borne alkali dispenser, which is designed to neutralize carbonic acid, which is harmful to coral reefs. This is a big idea in our national final this year. How does that fit into the Sustainable Development Goals? Beautiful is a mobile beauty makeup refill station, which has been created by some of our teams, one of our teams down in Portsmouth this year. How does that link in? That links in both, and I think all of these ideas can link into the education piece, might link into good health and well-being, responsible consumption and production. So really getting a good grasp on these Sustainable Development Goals is really important, I think, and understanding the interconnectivity between them. Another key sort of a really important part of the Big Ideas programme is that it is student-led. So we're not getting these businesses that we work with and Solutions to the Planet are not going into these schools and saying, this is a problem that we want you to solve. And I think young people and those young people listening to this, we know that you care about things, right? You know, it might be that you care about the amount of litter around, or it might be that you care about, you know, homelessness in your community, or access to food banks, or it could be all manner of things. The amount of air pollution around your school, you care about things. You just need to be asked, right, what you care about. So when it comes to the Big Ideas programme and speaking to our young people, we very much say, look, we've looked at some environmental sustainability challenges, because that is what we do on the Big Ideas Day at the start. But sustainability, as you've seen from the Sustainable Development Goals, is much broader. And what issues do you want to tackle? What issues do you want to solve? They could be local, they could be local to your school, they could be where you live, they could be global. And so it sort of broadens out. You sort of say, right, well, you know, you could have all manner of issues that you care about, could start small, could go massive straight away. And it gives that sort of flexibility and that ownership behind and responsibility onto the young people that we are working with. We're also quite careful around the language, because I think this is another big issue in the sort of environmental space. And I think there's actually been a session on this as well, sort of around building anxiety around these issues. And we try and use the word issue rather than the word problem. So we do think about the language that we're using. And we also are very clear that when we identify issues, that means that can lead to an opportunity to make a change. So when you've got an issue, that gives you an opportunity. And I think that sort of trying to use positive language where possible is part of Solutions for the Planet's tone of voice, the way we want to communicate. It's very hopeful, it's about action, and it's about a better future and positivity. So The other thing is around the big ideas that are created, and we have a saying in solutions. We call it that all big ideas have to be ABC, which is achievable, beneficial, and creative. But the achievable is a really big one, because young people, there's that example where you ask about the paperclip, if anyone's heard of it, where you ask a sort of 5-year-old, what would you do with this? What could you do with this? And they come up with about 1,000 different things. Excuse me, I don't know the exact details of this fact. But then as they get to 7, as they get to 12, as they get to 16, as they get to 20, it gets fewer and fewer, less and less, the number of things they can think about. You know, a 5-year-old might say, well, with a paperclip, we could blow it up so it's enormous. And then we could use it as a slide. I don't know, if it's made out of something that's bouncy, I don't know. They could come up with lots of creative ideas like that. So the achievable is a really important thing for when it comes to ideas. What is it achievable? I'm working with mentors from businesses as well. As we work with a lot of adults, we do tend to get a lot more as we get older. Sort of think, oh, is that really possible? Is that realistic? And I was particularly challenged a couple of years ago when one of our teams came up with this amazing idea, which was to get a magnet, put it in space. Some slight issues there, but fundamentally it's a big idea. Magnet in space, massive net, collect all the space junk that's up there, which is a huge problem. And it's the one time in 7 years of running this program where I thought, oh my goodness, I didn't say anything, but I was like, that's really unrealistic. So is it possible to use, to put something up in space like a harpoon to catch space rubbish? I tell you, yes, it is. The very next day after we had that, I had that conversation with students telling me about their big idea. NASA announced that they were creating a harpoon to catch space junk. I said, this has taught me something. I should never doubt the achievability for the young people. An edible water bubble. It actually exists, a water bubble with a film on it that you can just eat. So you're actually eating the water bubble, which obviously reducing the amount of plastic needed to store the plastic water bottles. Tree leaf leather. Yes, we've got lots of things that are made out of tree leaves now, including this wallet here. And finally, my personal favorite, a process that can turn air pollution into ink. Do you think that's possible? Well, in India, it's actually been done. There is a pen that is made from air pollution. So this just goes to show that we really do need to suspend potentially our preconceptions of what is achievable. And in the Big Ideas program, as it said on the beginning of this slide, nothing is impossible until it's been proven. So everything is possible until it's been proven to be impossible. And that very much, again, feeds in with the tone, the positivity, let's give it a try, why not? We need lots of creativity and innovation going forward. So now I've shown you a little bit about the achievability and the program. I want to hand over to some of our students who unfortunately couldn't be joining me live today because they're preparing for the final next week. But we have some students to talk a bit about their big ideas.
Our big idea was called Kinetic Case. It's a phone case which charges your phone using kinetic energy.
Our big idea is a device that fits in showers to save water.
Our big idea is to help tackle global warming by creating an exhaust, a filter for an exhaust, which will attach onto a pre-existing exhaust.
So our big idea is Vitalite, and it's a water bottle that lights up and it helps cyclists to keep visible during the night.
Our big idea was the energy gym, a gym that would produce energy while you're running on, for example, a treadmill.
Our big idea is to make a bracelet that can monitor blood pressure, blood sugar and heart rate. It's recycled and breathable, and it's made from footballers' bootlaces and rugby players' bootlaces.
So there are some of the amazing big ideas that have come out of the Big Ideas competition. I really encourage you, if you're interested in reading more about some of the big ideas, there are some on the screen now, but also on our website, we've got all the big ideas from this year's programme, including our national finalists. And it's really inspirational just to go and have a look at them. I sometimes do it just for fun, not just for work, to have a look at these amazing big ideas and be inspired. And what this really shows me and shows us is that big ideas can come from anyone and can come from anywhere. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be the best in science or the best in maths to come up with an amazing big idea. And the young people in the Big Ideas programme work in teams. So they work in teams of 4 to 6, and we do quite a lot of work around teamwork. And that really ties into how collaboration is so important when it comes to issues around sustainability and obviously designing a business. This year has absolutely had its challenges, and all the students that took part in the Big Ideas programme that you see on the website were all from schools that decided to continue supporting the students through lockdown. So all the students were working from home. They all had the regional final events live from their homes when they were presenting to judges. And again, I think that just goes to show the adaptability, flexibility and creativity that young people have, which is absolutely what we need to be coming up with creative, big ideas, solutions to sustainability challenges. So I know that my time is drawing to an end, and I hope that it has been interesting, hopefully a bit inspirational to hear about the big ideas, most importantly, that young people are coming up with. For us at Solutions for the Planet, we want to be part of creating a world where every young person has the knowledge, skills, ambition, motivation to turn hope into action for the benefit of people and the planet. We ask you today to pledge to be positive and purposeful. So whatever you're doing, do it with purpose. Know why you're doing it. Have hope for a better future and turn that hope into action for a better world. And we call on our world leaders to invest in environmental enterprise programs that complement the incredible work that's already being done by teachers. And we ask them to really listen to the amazingly achievable, brilliantly beneficial, credible and creative big ideas of young people. Okay, so there are a couple of questions that have come through as well. Someone said, I don't have any ideas that are this big. Can I start with something smaller? Absolutely. All of these ideas started small. You know, they started with the problem. So they started with the issue, should I say. So if you think about what issue you really want to tackle, think about something you really care about, and think about one thing that you can do to change that. Or you could find other people who care about that issue potentially. And if you think about that one thing and start local, like start small, think about your community, then you can then build on that. You can add things in. You can ask for help and advice from other people. Okay. And also remember that you don't have to do these sort of things on your own. I think that's really, really important. You know, everyone has a responsibility, but together we're going to make a bigger difference. So I also challenge you to whether you don't have any ideas that are this big. They may sound really big because they're on a screen, but actually I think if I was to have a chat with you, I'm sure you've got some very, very big ideas. You just might not feel they're that big. And that's really important, that you know that you do have great ideas, and that could absolutely be the next big idea. What other ideas have been designed before that you have loved? Well, I've been running this program this is going into my 8th year, and there have been so many big ideas that I have absolutely loved. We had one last year, which was a bus that it was called Renew a Bus, and it was a bus that was powered by 5 different types of renewable energy. So their idea was that they'd get an old bus and they'd retrofit it. So that means that they would install these things, they'd attach these things to an old bus, and they'd have solar panels on it. They'd use turbines, wind turbines. So when the bus was moving, there are some challenges around that because of how air slows things down, but let's not go into that. I love the idea. They were going to use piezoelectric energy, which is about pressure. So every surface on the bus, when people sat on it, walked on it, it would generate more energy. And then the last one was in the bottom of the bus. They were going to use fundamentally it's like hydroelectric, but it was using water and they were actually going to use oil so when the bus turned corners, it would move. And actually a lot of buses do use this for balance anyway, but they don't use it to generate energy. And yeah, so I've gone on loads about that idea. I love that idea. You saw Vitalite on there, thought that was fab because they were trying to solve 3 different issues at once with that idea. I'm obviously not going to talk about any of our finalists this year, who are all amazing because the final's next week. And then we've got, can I do this by myself, or do I need to be in a big group? So what I would say to that is the Big Ideas program itself is run in schools. So if you're in school and you'd like your school to take part, then you should tell them about it and tell them to get in touch with us. But in terms of having a big idea, like I absolutely think you can start that by yourself. It's good to find people to surround you who can support you, because it can be hard doing things on your own. But you can absolutely start taking, start something by yourself. One of my team, in fact, she decided that she really cared about litter in her area. There was lots and lots of litter, and so she set up a group. She's an adult, but she set up a group that was litter picking. Fundamentally, that's what they were going to do. They were just going to do some litter picks, and she found that when she went out and started litter picking, there are actually other people that saw her and joined her. So I think you can, taking that first step, you actually might draw people to you, because people are drawn to the energy that people give off when they're trying to make a difference, the positivity. They're attracted to that. It's like magnets. So you want to attract people who want to help you. And the other thing I would say is ask for help. One of the things that I learned late on is that it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to have all the answers. So find people and ask them to help you, because people like helping other people. So I love those questions in the chat, because they were so action orientated. They were thinking about what am I going to do with my ideas? So I feel like you're already pledging to be positive and purposeful, which is amazing. So I'm very conscious of time. I have one last short video to show you, but for me, I'm going to sign off. If you want to get in touch with Solutions for the Planet, then you can do so through our website, which is probably the easiest. And that's just www.solutionsfortheplanet.co.uk. We're also on all the social medias, and we'd love to hear your big ideas. I'm sure that Transform Our World would love to hear your big ideas. Some of our other big ideas have been on throughout the week, on Transform Our World. So we'd love to see your ideas. And I'll finish off with this short video. Thank you, everyone. It's been lovely being here today.
During the Big Ideas programme, I learned many things, but what really stands out to me is that they taught me that you can do anything, no matter who you are or what circumstance you're in.
During the Big Ideas programme, I learned that there's not only problems in the world, but there are also solutions.
During the Big Ideas programme, I have learned shocking facts about the problem ASAP wants to tackle, such as the fact that plastic pollution contributes heavily to the amount of endangered animals in the world, and heavily contributes to climate change.
I have learned that setting an idea up is challenging, and the economic part of the idea is also very important.
I learned quite a lot about sustainability and social aspects of life and the way that the world works. I learned a lot about veganism and the different ways of life and how it can sustain the planet.
I learned that not to face the challenge alone. Instead, my family all supported me in these challenges. And without them, I don't think I would be where we are today.
We've also learned some key teamwork skills throughout the programme, and just learning that it's okay to ask for help if you're struggling, different parts of the plan, and how as a united team so much more can be done.
During the Big Ideas programme, I learned that using teamwork is the best way to solve any problems that you come across.
During the Big Ideas programme, I have learned that communication is very important.
I learned that we shouldn't take anything for granted, but no matter what comes our way, we will be able to pull through in the end.
Most importantly, the need for sticking up for what you think is right, and to never stop believing in yourself and your idea, as anything is possible.